If you type teacher, home teacher, or teacher for English, teacher for Bengali, you will find lot of tutorials come up first. If you notice, you will realize that 5 or 6 in the first pages particular tutorials will come up, and you will have to accept tutors from them. Now what will they do? These are the digital marketing strategy, I must tell you. They are not tutors. They have created a digital platform in which tutor will pay, in which you as a guardian will pay. Say that, sir, we need to assess the quality of your kid. We have an entrance test. Entrance test is nothing but a ploy. It's a ploy. It's a game. In the entrance test, your kid will be shown that he is a bright student and he has tremendous capability. Only that he requires a proper guidance. This guidance we can provide, they would say. In this way, the guardian will be trapped. School teacher uses the school as a marketing ploy. School teachers receive peanuts from the school. Most of these schools do not pay them at all very good salary. It is so less, barely can you survive. But they are still engaged into schools. Why? Because school is a marketing window for them. First 30% or 40% time, entire big profit will be extracted from you, because they know after 30% or 40% of the time spent by the kid will become disillusioned. The kid will come to understand it is not my cup of tea, I cannot understand it, materials are too difficult, I cannot score properly, and the kid will stop going. Obviously for them the money will stop flowing in, because you as a guardian will discontinue it, you will not pay any further. More and more people will try to convince you that getting your kids admitted into that institution literally without much cost will take your son to the level of becoming an IIT engineer, maybe a doctor. All these nice, fine, beautiful, flowery futures will be projected before your eyes. And welcome to dbhattacharjee.com. Today I'm going to discuss about the importance people attach to the corporate tutorials vis-a-vis the expertise that they can bring home and get their kids taught by those expert tutors. It has been recently observed that more and more guardians are getting inclined towards sending their kids into the corporate tutorials. Now let me give you the definition of corporate tutorials. These are actually companies. These happen to be run by expert tutors once upon a time on their individual basis. But as soon as they realized the importance of marketing and started applying the marketing gimmicks into the procuring of students, they started turning it into a business. How? Let us imagine there happened to be a very expert tutor on physics or mathematics for that matter. Now, lot of students in his private capacity would come to get tuitions from him. As he expanded, as he became bigger, he started assigning the teaching faculty to other tutors. Now, when the students' number swelled up, he got other tutors to teach while he would produce only the notes. That was the first step. And the next step was he got the tuition center registered as a company. And then he started getting investments from different angel investors. Angel investors are those organizations or a group of people, even an individual as well, who has a lot of money but is looking for investing that lot of money in a prospective venture where the money is going to increase manifold. Now, this tutorial center would receive money from different angel investors and distribute their shares. Most of the times, they dilute their shares, which means if the company has 100% shares in the name of the tutor who initially started it, and that tutor is presently called as the promoter now in the company, he would dilute the share. For instance, any company who is being pitched by this gentleman that I am going to expand and it is going to procure this much profit every year, etc. And the angel investor becomes truly very interested in it. That angel investor would eventually put money into it, whatever is necessary, and there will be a deal struck between them. What is the deal? For instance, the promoter would say that I'll provide you 10% of my share and allow me to get 100 crores. And once he receives 100 crores in lieu of 10% share that the angel investor now holds, everything is on private capacity, but they have been well registered with the government and well accepted legally. Uh, this 100 crore will be put into use for expansion. Now, let us assume in Kolkata, he has got only one tuition center, and into that tuition center, for instance, for nearly 18 hours, there are different classes and there are different teachers involved, but the space cannot be increased. The real difficulty lies with the space, because in a given space, you have a limited number of students. Therefore, this gentleman will look for expansion. What is the mode of expansion? He will take a bigger space, for instance, in South Kolkata, and that space, let us assume, will be of 5,000 square feet area, and it will be divided into smaller rooms, which can be termed as class for different categories of students. Now, different tutors will be again involved into it. Their payment or the salary will have to be done. In this way, he will start expanding it. Now, the real problem does not start with expansion alone, because just for taking a room on rent and making payments for electricity, air conditioner, etc., is not the real expense here involved. The real expense here is the marketing expense. What is the marketing expense? One, he will have to make lot of payments to the ACO group, to the different digital platform promotion giving groups. These are actually engineers who will be working on it to get his project on the top of the search engine. If you type teacher, home teacher, or teacher for English, teacher for Bengali, you will find lot of tutorials come up first. If you notice, you will carefully, you will realize that 5 or 6 in the first pages, particular tutorials will come up, and you will have to accept tutors from them. Now, what will they do? These are the digital marketing strategy, I must tell you. They are not tutors. They have created a digital platform in which tutor will pay, in which you as a guardian will pay, and you will get yourself registered. After registration, there will come a call. Again, this is also mechanized, because the moment you are registered, the call center girls will immediately realize it, because it will come to their data. They will make the calls and they will try to convince you, and while convincing you, they will come to also know about your background financially. Let me give you an example. They will by ask you about 60-70% questions on the student, his performance, his inclination, etc. But this is not the thing that they want. They would try to gauge how much you earn annually. For instance, they may ask you, excuse me sir, because we communicate mostly in English and the convent education is very prevalent in India, let me understand the background of the guardians. Which profession, sir, are you in? For instance, you are a doctor. Then you would obviously say that I am a doctor and associated with so and so organization or nursing home or hospital. Immediately, they will make a calculation how much money you can provide. In this way, they will segmentize you, which means there are 4 or 5 segments. You belong to 20 lakhs per annum group, you belong to 10 lakhs per annum group, you belong to 5 lakhs per annum group, you belong to 3 lakhs and less per annum group. Accordingly, they will put importance and employ their marketing strategy. You will find more and more calls you will be receiving from the organizations. More and more people will try to convince you that getting your kids admitted into that institution literally without much cost will take your son to the level of becoming an IIT engineer, maybe a doctor. All these nice, fine, beautiful, flowery futures will be projected before your eyes. And you will feel like, all right, let me give it a try. Obviously, there will be a person assigned to you. If you belong to the higher income bracket, for instance, you belong to 15 lakhs and above, annual income of the family, for instance, you and your wife or husband, wife, etc., both of you are earning, then you can belong to 15 lakhs, even 20 lakhs bracket in today's town. They target you because they are going to take more than 4-5 lakh rupees totally. How? They will first convince you, they will send their executives to your place with their marketing materials. These marketing materials are created in such a manner that psychology is properly properly tickled in a fashion that you will fall for it. They will show you flowery future. They will say that your son is perfectly a make for IIT computer science. In future, he is going to become crorepati. He will earn in lakhs and crores per annum. In this way, he will or she will, that marketing fellow or like the executive, will try to net you into their into their strategy. So you will go for it. Two, second action, they will say that, sir, we need to assess the quality of your kid. We have an entrance test. Entrance test is nothing but a ploy. It's a ploy. It's a game. In the entrance test, your kid will be shown that he is a bright student and he has tremendous capability. Only that he requires a proper guidance. This guidance we can provide, they would say. In this way, the guardian will be trapped. Another way of marketing is the kid will be given 85% in the entrance test. This entrance test is a goofed up marketing strategy, needless to say. These people play on psychology. The psychology is every guardian in today's term into the slice bracket of say between 10 to 20 lakhs of annual income fall into this category that they have tremendous hope. They their imagination is sky high. They start believing that their kid is going to be the very special kid earning in crores per annum, and this idea and this psychology or this expectation in the guardian is employed here to get or extract money from them. I'm talking about the corporate tutorials. How? Because these people will start giving this guardian an idea that your kid is going to be very special. He has secured in our entrance test 80%, above 80%. Of course, he requires to procure more than 95%. With our able guidance, with our proper study materials, and with our expertise, he will be able to achieve it in just 2 or 3 years' time. So, get him admitted into our organization, it will be very easy. Now begins the admission process. This is the third phase. So first phase, you have been hooked. Second phase, in the name of certain counseling with the guardian, certain talks with the guardian, or visit of the executive and the entrance test, so called fabricated, uh, you have been hooked properly. Now comes actual question of payment and the admission procedure. Into this admission procedure, you will not realize how much money they are ultimately going to extract from you. Initially, they will show a very less amount of money, and they will also break it into different uh, EMIs, I should say, monthly installments or quarterly installments. Initially, now they have already got the data of your annual income, so they know how much you are capable of paying. Now, having talked with you, the executive has already given the information that this guardian's expectation is this much high, so he can spend as much as 40% of his income for the welfare of the kid. Now, they are not thinking about your kid becoming IITian or doctor. They are thinking of extracting money as much as possible depending on your interest that they have been able to gauge having talked to you directly in the form of their executives or other interactions. They have already segmentized you in such a manner that you fall one to the category of extremely interested guardian going to pay tremendous beyond his capacity if necessary, or mediocre, he is a clever guy and this kind of fellow can be little cautious and careful, or you are not capable of paying us at all because you do not have the capacity. So roughly 3 or 4 categories you belong to, and they will put you into that category. Now if you are onto the creamy category, which is you have a tremendous amount of imagination and you have tremendous amount of expectation from your kid, obviously they are going to extract you much. Initially, the payment will be such that it will take up the cost of the material, one. It will cover the cost of the teacher for the coming 6 months, two. It is going to pay for the rent of the room and other material costs such as AC and CCTV, etc. So they will extract in the first installment entire 6 months cost of them. Obviously, you will go for the next few installments as well, and initially the study will be such that it will not put much pressure on you. So your kid will start taking interest into it. After 3-4 months, the real studies will begin. At this point in time, when the real studies begin, your kid will start getting the hit. This is the time when they will actually start segregating the kid into the prospective kid or not at all prospective kid. Now, what is the prospective kid? Prospective kid belongs to those group of people who are posing a great probability of achieving IIT or becoming a doctor. They are the creamest of the cream. people. Now let us imagine they have got 10,000 students. Out of them, they will segregate 50 students who are really going to crack it. Rest of the students will not be given that much importance, but they will be given very easy questions, very easy study materials, very nice speaking teachers, so that they remain hooked up for the next of the session. Let us imagine for the couple of years. Now the student will go come. Student will not realize any lecture, the student will not understand any study material, and the periodic tests will go on, and the periodic counseling based on the test results will be executed by the company, and the guardian will not understand any head or tail of it, but the guardian will become mechanized. It is called inertia, because if you keep working for say 20 times one thing again and again, going to a particular tutorial and again returning the same way, you become inertiaized, which means you become mechanized, and you continue to do it all the time, and you never stop it. You cannot at all stop yourself. In this way, you will continue to pay, and in just the first part of the year, I must tell you, if I divide the entire course into 3 years or 2 years, in the first 6 months or 1 year's time, in the first 30% or 40% time, entire big profit will be extracted from you, because they know after 30% or 40% of the time spent by the kid will become disillusioned. The kid will come to understand it is not my cup of tea, I cannot understand it, materials are too difficult, I cannot score properly, and the kid will stop going. Obviously, for them, the money will stop flowing in, because you as a guardian will discontinue it, you will not pay any further. So their strategy, in the 30% of the first phase, they will extract 90% of their profit from you. Rest, they know that 100 people have joined their tutorial, only 5% or 10% will eventually stay after 3 years. So I have noticed guardians sending their kids as much as when they are in class 8 or 9. These corporate tutorials will ultimately not make them efficient. Another point I must tell you, that these corporate tutorials will put lot of students in one place. Naturally, it's a profit making business. They want to put more students into one classroom, and they will employ a teacher who will take least salary, because they want to make their profits more. You can very easily understand that. Now if you offer a least salary, very less salary, let me give you an example. If you offer a teacher say 10,000 rupees or 15,000 rupees, what quality of teacher are you getting? You can understand that in the market. All right, so they will collect a teacher who will keep rotating, because you will notice in a consistent 2 or 3 years time, teachers keep coming and going, because these teachers are just employed people, unemployed people who are extremely educated and whose knowledge has been harnessed at a very low price, taking advantage of gross unemployment prevalent in the society. As a result, you will find most of these people are not really very proficient and experienced into this field, and they do not deliver properly. Yes, they are given a little bit of training, and they are given the study materials which is prepared by the experienced teachers and expertise, and these study materials are being rotated by these teachers and they deliver it. Obviously, they do not have the inclination of a teacher. It results into this, that the kid ultimately cannot understand. The kid cannot really go through the whole thing. As a result, the situation will become worse for the kid, and the kid will start losing interest into the subject. Do you know what will happen? After a year or two, even after 6 months, 50 or 60% of the kids will leave the tutorial, because one, in a in a classroom of 30 students or 40, 50 students, how can a mediocre kid, most of the kids are mediocre, I must say that people who get into IIT or become a doctor eventually are 0.00001%, means out of 1 lakh one fellow perhaps will be able to qualify. So do not think that your kid is going to be that one. It is very unlikely. According to the game of probability, any kid, pick any kid in your neighborhood or in your place, he or she is not going to be an IITian or doctor. That is for true, and these business people know that. Now the kid will definitely fall short of the expectations and the race, and they will make their periodic tests in such a manner, they will keep showing you the flowery future, so that the kid remains retained by the tutorial. But eventually, when the joint entrance examination happens, the kid will not at all perform, and the kid will start realizing it. This will result in ultimately coming down to the reality. everyone will come to know that they will have to compromise after having spent 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 4 lakh rupees into these corporate tutorials. Our sweet guardians will come to this realization that they will have to get their kids admitted into a C category engineering college offering some computer science, for that matter electronics, etc. Do you know the result? After having come out of the C category where you do not have much of competition and you can pay a little bit of capitation fee or management fee in the form of 3 lakhs, 5 lakh rupees, total cost might be from those engineering colleges some 20 lakhs or so on and around basis, but you will not realize, again there is a trap over there and you will not realize it. Initially it will sound like 5 lakhs or 6 lakhs, but when you come out of the engineering colleges after a span of 4 years and a half, you will see, totally taking into consideration your commutation, your stay, your hostel and everything, more than 20-25 lakhs have been spent. What is the result that you get as a result? From having been qualified, which is very commonly done, as an engineer from these C category of engineering colleges, you will be employed as a 15,000 per month salary employee. That too very much disposable, because these people will not stay longer into the IT industry, because IT industry is a different ball game at all. Have you noticed any fellow having some 45 years or 50 years working still in the IT industry? IT industry works in this postulate that take the fresh blood. They will take in the 15,000 worth boy from engineering college. They will show him the future that he will earn in lakhs. When after he becomes matured and senior, after 10 years or so, they will find a ploy to throw him out. And most of these people will become somewhat unemployed as soon as they touch 40 years. And I must say more than 90-95% people will become unemployed. Only 5% will make it to the upper ring or the senior supervisorial rank. They will command a lot of money. Now, we see those people into the society and we think my kid is also going to become that. No, see the failures. 95% people failed. So this is how the corporate tutorials work. Now what can a guardian do? The guardian must understand the capacity of the student, the inclination of the student, and accordingly must take decision, not emotionally, not in a fashion that XYZ guardian's son has become ABC, therefore my student is also, my kid is also going to become that ABC going future. Don't think it. Don't compare your kid in such a manner. The best method is to employ on an individual basis an experienced private tutor, not school teacher. School teacher uses the school as a marketing ploy. School teachers receive peanuts from the school. Most of these schools do not pay them at all very good salary. It is so less, barely can you survive, but they are still engaged into schools. Why? Because school is a marketing window for them. Because they are school teachers, 99% guardians will think that school teachers have the experience and knowledge of the board, therefore I must send my kid to the school teacher. One. Two, school teachers take less amount of money because school teachers will not come down to your place. The school teacher has a very big space at her home and there will be as many as 30-50 students sitting together at a cost of say 1000 or 1500 per month fee. Imagine the amount the school teacher is raking up. Now school teacher cannot pay attention to your kid alone. I don't say school teachers do not have the expertise. They do have. But the school teachers target is quantity. When there is a bigger quantity, then obviously she cannot or he cannot pay attention to an individual student. But a private tutors do not have that marketing window. Therefore, a private tutor will come down to your place and on an one-to-one basis talk to your son, talk to your daughter and try to gauge her mentality and find a way to create interest into the subject. See, private tutors, those again divided into two parts. One set of private tutors are those who are after the gigs. They are not thoroughly private tutors. They are employed somewhere, or most of the times they are absolutely unemployed young people. They look for pocket money and they do not have any commitment to the profession, I must say, because the moment they get a job, they will throw your kid and they will dump your kid's career and they will go away. Point one. Point two, they do not attach much importance to it. You will find unprofessionalism there, because they will often say that, oh, I cannot come today, I'll come that day. So if a teacher is not committed, for instance, he's not maintaining the time, he's not coming on time, he's changing the dates, you will understand that he does not have any number of students. Because if you are full with number of students, you cannot change the date, because all your slots are full, you cannot alter it. This is the most important thing you should understand. Whenever a teacher is not maintaining the time, punctuality, and frequently changing the classes or the slots, then you will realize that this is not a professional teacher. I must say 99% again are unprofessional gigs. So this is one part. Second part, yes, if you listen and if you search or make researches into the market, you will come to know that there are still 1% teachers who are thoroughly dedicated as private tutors. One, those who have tremendous exposure into the subject. Two, and those who can understand students as a having an innate quality of teacherhood. Therefore, these people you can employ, but you have to make thorough researches. There is a caveat. If 1% very good efficient tutors you can ever get, you will realize and you will also come to know that this teacher is not employable. He will not accept any school. He will not be employed as a school. Even if the school offers him employment, he will not be employed, because he knows in his private capacity he has the complete authority, one, and he commands more money. Because as a school teacher, after having given your 10 hours of time on a daily basis, you can understand you are getting peanuts. Only that you do not have the capacity to raise yourself to that level. You have used the school as a marketing window to procure the students. Private tutors, for having their own capacity and experience, can command the market already. Therefore, their fees are more. They will come down to your place and they will truly try to raise the interest of the student in the subject. Eventually, if you can employ a private teacher, you will come to know that your student is by and by improving onto the subject. So this is basically the difference between the private tutors, again, between private tutor and the corporate tutorials, and the notion of the guardians about the schools. Again, don't forget, corporate tutorials are doing a business. They are not teachers. They take up your kid, but they do not teach your kid. You are paying the money to a businessman who is taking the lion's share and giving peanut to the teacher. But who are you interacting with as a kid? Who the kid is going to interact with and get the knowledge from? The teacher. Now ask yourself, because it is the teacher, do you know the teacher's quality? In the corporate tutorial, you don't know. You are dependent on a businessman, and actually you are being extracted a lot of money. You are being exploited because you have a big globule of hope and imagination. So come out of the hope. I am addressing those people who are getting 100% in mathematics, 99% in science in class 6 or 7. Guardians start believing that my kid is going to become an IITian or a doctor going forward. No, my dear, in class 8 or 9, getting 98% is very easy. But when it comes to class 12, you will realize what is what. And when it comes to ultimately the joint entrance examination, you will be at nowhere. I'll discuss about it in a different video altogether.